Welcome along, fellow Dark Magician enthusiasts, to another video. Today's video is my deck profile for the deck I took to D-level max in the KC Cup September 2024. Do apologize how long this video is taken to come out, as I've been busy with other stuff, but finally, it's time to break down the deck and just explain my choices for the KC Cup. KC Cup was just full of new decks, and I will say it was annoying to learn what these new decks did on the fly, but managed to do it, managed to get through it. I will say it was a lot tougher than previous KC Cups that I've done, especially the ones where there was Agents Tier 0, which was just rampant and crazy, or even Tachyon. This was a lot harder to. This KC Cup was a lot harder to navigate, I will say that. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, skill of choice, Bane of Darkness, because I've already used Battle Chronicle before. I wanted to hit D-level max with Bane of Darkness, Dark Cavalry, Dark Paladin, Turbo, go Burr. I love it, it's great. Good skill, I absolutely love it. And the main reason I wanted to pick the skill was because of a new card that you see in my list here that is limited 3. I'll explain more about this card in a moment. But yeah, seeing that card, I knew instantly I have to try something out. I have to cook something up, and it worked. It worked out really well. So, 2 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. I was previously running 3. I had my deck at 21 cards, but I was seeing Apprentice Illusion Magician in my hand way too often, and I just did not want to see Apprentice in my hand so much. It's very annoying drawing 2 of them in the same turn, because with Bane of Darkness you're already going -1 because of the skill, so going -2 to get DM is not ideal. Not ideal whatsoever. So putting it to lessen the odds of drawing both in on the first turn. So yeah, that's my reasoning for it. Sometimes drawing both on the first turn works if I've already got DM in hand and Piercing the Darkness. But yeah, that's the main reason why I lowered it to 2. 1 Dark Magician Girl, of course, because of the Dark Magician's floating effect. This has not changed. Yeah, that's all Dark Magician Girl is in there for, and just free discard fodder, pretty much. 1 Buster Blader. We don't want to see Buster Blader in our hand, and I don't see the need to run more than 1. 1's plenty. 3 Dark Magician, because of course it's the main man himself. We want to see him as much as possible, and yeah, that's all there is to it. We want to see DM as much as possible, so we run 3. Next up, we have 2 copies of Summoner's Art. This has not changed. I think I have tried running 3 before, but I was seeing all 3 copies in my hand too often, and usually a 1 DM would pair alongside it, so it's essentially dead card. We want to eliminate as many dead cards as possible. 2 is optimal because mainly we want to see DM specifically in the opening hand. Summoner's Art does help, but yeah, I just didn't want to run too many, because if you open 2 Summoner's Art and a DM, the Summoner's Art that's still in your deck is just not usable anymore. Can't be used. Thing is though, if you open up 1 DM and both of these Summoner's Art, and you've only got 2 Summoner's Art in your deck, it's just perfect 1-for-1 trade. You got no dead cards in your deck, and you're gonna have a better chance of drawing into stuff you need. 3 Dark Magical Circle. Our main removal, we always want this. Always want access to this. Never less than 3. This hasn't changed for me. I love Circle. I love seeing 3 Circle. Okay, actually, I don't love seeing 3 Circle in my hand. 3 Circle in my deck though, and I draw 1 of them. That's good. That's good. Here is the big highlight. Book of Eclipse at 3. Now, it is a limited 3 card, mainly because of how powerful it is. You get to change all face-up monsters on the field, which includes your own, change them all to defense, face-down defense position, and then during the end phase of the turn, you flip as many face-down defense position monsters your opponent controls as possible. You flip them face up, and then your opponent draws cards equal to the amount they were flipped face up. So this is very, very good for just getting around of a lot of decks, because there are some decks previously, like DM just struggled getting around like an attack and targeting lock with Cybers. I think it's Synchro Quantum, or even like the Dark Fluid Link. You also got the new Lorilisk, which when they summon with Cobalt Sparrow, they become untargetable. And there's so many other decks where like they lock you down and you can't get rid of the problematic monsters. This answers so many things. Like, does your opponent give you an attack and targeting lock? Just use Book of Eclipse. Are all of your opponent's monsters untargetable? Book of Eclipse. Does your opponent have a lot of monsters that have a bunch of negates and interactions that you don't want to go off? Book of Eclipse. Is your opponent trying to set up an Xyz summon? Book of Eclipse. Is your opponent trying to set up a Synchro summon? Book of Eclipse. Is your opponent trying to set up a Link summon? Book of Eclipse. It's so good. It is so, so good. I have a feeling they're going to hit this card. I don't know. It's so, so dominant. It's so good. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is the #1 card in popularity. If we just move out of the deck list for a moment, we go popularity ranking. Let's see. What do you know? Book of Eclipse, #1 card in deck list. It is the most popular spell right now because it's so good. It is so, so good. I recommend getting 3 copies because like you just cannot go wrong. You can't go wrong with 3. It's awesome, especially when you've set up when you're setting up Dark Cavalry. You just flip all of your opponent's monsters face down. You attack them all. Oh, it's so awesome. Like, just smash them all. They can't do anything whatsoever. And, like, your opponent has to rely on the spells and traps they have set. If they don't have any set, then, like, you know, they're pretty well cooked. It's a good card. It's a very, very good card. 3. I love it. Piercing the Darkness, 2. I tried 1. I didn't draw into it enough. And I really wanted to draw into this without drawing into too many copies. You know, so keeping it at 2 is nice. So that way, you can't risk drawing like multiple copies in your hand. So like two copies, and you still got 1 in your deck. Look, there are times where you will draw into both, but at least you wouldn't be drawing into like 2 of them, and then 1 still sitting in your deck, and then you'd be wasting a draw. It's also good, like just trying to maximize the odds of getting this into your hand without Piercing the Darkness bricking your hand itself. It's like a double-edged sword. But yeah, no, it's a good card. It helps for beating over a lot of towers, especially like Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid, which like can boost itself to like 10,000 attack. You just use this, ram into your opponent, use Piercing Darkness to gain attack, and it's like you can just hit anything. Doesn't matter what you hit, you can just hit anything and you'll win. Like once you destroy Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid. It's great. Fusion Recovery 1. I've tried running multiples and I was seeing it more than what I wanted to see other cards alongside it. So it's like sometimes it's not that great. Like sometimes you will need it. It's like you'll need extra discard fodder. Or other times you'll need it to set up both the Dark Magicians and like Dark Cavalry or Dark Paladin. But yeah, sometimes I didn't want to see this all the time, so it's like just one's good enough. I find 1 to be very consistent, very good. It works for me. Eternal Soul at 2. We don't want it at 3 because we don't want to draw into it too much. Because like if you don't have Circle, you don't have DM, then yeah, like Eternal Soul is going to be useless, and like more often you want to draw in a Book of Eclipse as like your best interruption. But you know, we still want to try and draw into this, so we go 2. That way, because like if we put it at 1 and then like our only Eternal Soul gets added, then like we've got no backup for like trying to outgrind our opponent as much as possible. So 2 works really well. For the extra deck, now there's 9 slots now. The Dark Magicians at 1. Hasn't changed since. Still a good card, good for drawing. Good if you pair it with Fusion Recovery, you can get an instant draw out of it, and sometimes it leads to a game-changing draw. It's really good for turn 1. Dark Cavalry, at 1, our main attacking monster, just piercing into everything, targeting negation. It is a godsend. I love it. Dark Cavalry, just great. Love it. Buster Blade of the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman at 1. We still keep this in here mainly to deal with Tachyon and Borrelode Link. It's a this is good at just switching off all the opponent's effects, and I've had duels where I've summoned this and the opponent is pretty much surrendered because they had no outs to it whatsoever. The only problem with Buster Blade of the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman is if this card gets added and this is your only protection against Tachyon and Borrelode Link, or even Blue Eyes, you're done. You're not going to survive. So it can be a double-edged sword, but it's still good. We keep it just in case, because sometimes this alone just wins games. It's great. Dark Paladin, the GOAT. Absolutely great. I love it. I use it every now and then. And he comes in clutch when I use it, like against Sky Strikers, against any Battle Chronicle decks. Which Battle Chronicle is always a gamble going first, because I've seen Battle Chronicle players playing Seto, and then all of a sudden they start pulling out Dark Magician cards. It's like, excuse me, sir, what are you doing? But mainly against Blue Eyes, this works really, really well. The only problem is if your opponent has Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon in their hand and they manage to summon it to the field, you are very well cooked if they blow this up. So yeah, still good card. Good card. We use this. Number 11, Big Eye at 1. We still keep this card because it's so good. And realistically, if you cannot banish, with Lorilisk, for example, they have a monster, Assembled Nightingale, where you can just outgrind the opponent by activating its effect, and you take no battle damage. So what you really need to do to turn the tables on them, if you cannot banish any of the other monsters, you use Book of Eclipse to flip them all face down, Xyz summon Big Eye, steal Nightingale, and then you just outgrind the opponent yourself. There's not much your opponent can do, if you manage to steal Assembled Nightingale and just outgrind them completely. It's a good card, and it's essential. Yeah, I will say that. It is very essential, because sometimes you will need to just snatch your opponent's monsters and use it against them. Because, hey, the decks are evolving more and more, and Big Eye is coming more in clutch. 1 Ningirsu, the World Chalice Warrior. I put this in mainly because of the all the targeting protection. Sometimes you might not have Book of Eclipse on hand, so you will essentially just have to try and link climb into this and then send one of your opponent's cards and something else, or even this itself, to the graveyard, just to get rid of your opponent's stuff. Look, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you need to do it. Yeah, I put this package in because it's pretty well. I say it's pretty well necessary in this kind of meta. If you don't have Book of Eclipse, you need to draw into this. There were games where, Nightmare Phoenix just wasn't being used at all. I even put in Nightmare Unicorn for funds, and I didn't use Nightmare Unicorn whatsoever. Ningirsu, I've gotten more use out of Ningirsu, though I will say I haven't really won many games using Ningirsu, but it's still an option there just in case. 1 Security Dragon, this is the monster of choice I use to link climb into Ningirsu, plus it also has the effect where you can just target a monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand, if it's co-linked, which that itself is good. Returning extra deck monsters, really good. It means that your opponent would have to spend more resources trying to get it out again. Yeah, this was my link climb of choice, because mainly need a down pointing arrow, or a down left or a down right. A down pointing arrow I found it with Security Dragon with its effect. Good choice. And 2 Imduct the World Chalice Dragon. Now, being at 9 cards, this is the only way the Ningirsu Link Climb is possible without sacrificing any of my other monsters. 2 Imducts actually comes up very often, I will say. Like, I've got DM on field, I've already used an Imduct, and I need to use another one. Just go another Imduct. It's amazing what happens when Konami gives you 9 extra deck slots. Like, all of a sudden, 2 Imducts are becoming more and more often. Like, I need 2 Imducts now. Yeah, it's coming up a lot. It's very, very clutch, very good. I mean, especially like if you need to get DM off your field and then revive it with Eternal Soul to banish. No, to trigger Soul banish. Like, sometimes like I just need that extra room. So, hey, Imduct comes in clutch. So yeah, that is the entire deck list. That's the deck profile. There. Now, am I going to try and hit King Games with this? Yes. But I want to try and hit King Games in Rush Duel first. I want to get Rush out of the way, and then do Speed Duel. I have a feeling there is a ban list coming after this KC Cup. I mean, there was a ban list that was, announced, like for just after KC Cup, which, where is it? I know there was an announcement. No, not in here. Here it is. Yeah, so like they got a bunch of skill rebalancing, but like it's mainly for future updates, and there was rush stuff, and then yeah, there was nothing changing for Speed Duel whatsoever. I think there was another list beforehand. If I can find it, yeah, there was another one here, August. Which was like Catapult Turtle, Phantasmal, Lord Ultimate, Bish Balkan. Yeah, it didn't really do much, but yeah, look, with no changes happening to Speed Duel until the KC Cup is over, Konami are probably going to realize we've released too much into the meta, and we're going to just nerf a bunch of stuff. So yeah, we just wait and see what happens with the Forbidden Limited list. Once it gets released, I will live react to it because I'm hoping it's a good list. I'm hoping it's good, and I'll give my thoughts on like what it means for Dark Magician. But yeah, in the meantime, Dark Magician best deck. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.